Desmond here. I am my alter ego here on Friday nights on KMET, ABC News Talk and Sports Radio. I'm sure you missed me last night because, of course, we were preempted by the 49ers and Rams game, which plays on this station. So no Lou Desmond and Company show on Thursday. Had really interesting conversations with some guests earlier in the week, but here we are talking about sports and sports betting because on Friday nights it is the Hit the Pick show. And of course, we're time traveling because we're actually recording this Wednesday afternoon. So you'll hear us talk about Thursday night football and things that have already happened in the distant past as we bend time to our will. Joining me tonight, two great handicappers, Scott the Steamroller Steen, who's been in the business a very long time, and David Delano joining us from his kids' soccer practice. So great that he's able to make the time. Normally, Tom Macrina, a.k.a. Rye Cape, is here, but apparently something is wrong with Tom's timeline because he told us all he was going to a Phillies game, but the Phillies don't play tonight. And we even checked other local sports, but no, we cannot. We know the Eagles aren't playing. We know the Flyers aren't playing. We know the Phillies aren't playing. So whatever game he's been told by whoever's taking him that they are taking him to, I just hope he doesn't end up in a trunk in an auto yard somewhere.
Well, maybe he's using that hit the pick time machine to travel forward to the Phillies' first game.
Yeah, that could be it. Or he's just wrong, which is highly likely. Guys, I haven't broken down any college football yet. I've concentrated my early part of my week on NFL stuff. So if we want to start with college, that's going to be a conversation that's going to be without me. So let me just go to Scott and David. Either of you have any college picks you want to get out of the way first?
Well, I'll do one for some people that may not get any value out of it. I'll do the Thursday night game. So hopefully, some
Okay.
people listening to this before the Thursday night game. Sam
Well, it
Houston.
does post on the YouTube channel Wednesday.
That's
So
right. That's right.
there's that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're listening to this Friday and you're like, man, I wish I'd had this info earlier, do get over there to the YouTube channel and check it out because we do post this Wednesday evening. So it's going to be a real barn burner there between Sam Houston State and New Mexico State. New Mexico State really can't do much on offense, and Sam Houston State really can't stop anybody on offense. And when I say New Mexico State is bad on offense, I am not kidding. They are last in the nation in rushing yards per game, and it's not even close. They average about 25 rush yards per game. The next closest team to them averages 47. So they're almost twice as bad as the next team closest to them. However, if you can't run the ball, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to throw the ball, and that's something that people have been able to do against Sam Houston State with great success. So, despite the fact that these are a couple of teams who doesn't have great offenses, I think the defenses are going to suck enough to put this one over the total of 53 and a half. David?
Yeah, that's an interesting one there. I agree with you with the over. Early I was looking at that kind of leaning toward New Mexico State, but the more that I look at it, Sam Houston State's they had a bye week, and New Mexico State's coming off that rivalry game against New Mexico. So that does scare me. But I'm not really in a rush to want to lay points with Sam Houston State either. So I do like the over in that game as well. I was also looking at the under the total. I really hate to go with unders in games like this, but looking at that Colorado State game against San Diego State, I mean, both of these teams have had some very, very low scoring games. It's a 41 and a half. It's jumped up a point. I'll take the under 41 and a half in that one. Whenever I take unders that low, which are rare, really when I take unders, it's hard for me to watch the game. When I have overs, sometimes you watch it. When you have sides, you watch it. But a lot of times, just for me, it's tough to watch a game when I have the under because I'm just sitting there hoping for the game to be boring and any action kind of bothers me. So yeah, so I hate that there. But so that's one that I like. And then looking ahead to Saturday, I'm just jumping ahead a little bit. Penn State, UCLA. Don't usually like to lay this many points, but I do like Penn State minus the 25 and a half. UCLA's a mess. They fired Deshaun Foster. and they've been getting hammered by some. They lost to New Mexico this year as well. And one thing with Penn State though, coming off of that loss against Oregon, James Franklin, you can say what you want about his record against top 5 and top 10 teams, but when they play bad teams, I mean he's definitely an a-hole, and that's the type of guy that you want to back when you have a big spread. I was looking at that game they played. I think Villanova this year, they won 52-6. It was 52-0. They scored a touchdown on the last play. And the reason I'm bringing that up, even though they won 52-6, James Franklin was upset. You could see immediately that they didn't get the shutout. So this is a guy that, coming off that loss, he likes to get blowouts. He likes to run up the score. He's one of those guys. A lot of times where he can take the knee, he'll run the offense and punch it in those last couple minutes. So he covers a lot, these big numbers. Even though it's ugly, UCLA is a mess. The quarterback over there, Nico, after transferring from Tennessee with all looking for that UIL money, I think that he's checked out, made a bad decision there. So I like the 25.5 with Penn State too.
James Franklin, I was tracking exactly with you. This is the type of game he wins big. He always wins big against crap teams. And then when he plays good teams, he loses. That's just the way it is, right, Scott?
Yeah, well, and early in the season, we actually rode the anti-Penn State there at least one of those games because they were just a little overvalued for the amount of offense that they were showing. They weren't really showing their A-list stuff, and they were just content to hold on to the ball, run the football, and play the cards close to their vest. So we were able to take advantage of that. Yeah, but for the most part, once the season gets up and running, especially with one of these heartbreaking defeats underneath his belt, that means all bets are off. And Penn State, I think, will unleash the beast. I agree with David there.
I've got a guy who works for me who is a huge UCLA fan. He's an alum. His father's an alum. His son's an alum. I mean, on and on and on. Big family connection. And I was talking to him the other day, and he said this is the worst UCLA football team he's ever seen. And that's saying something. UCLA has gone through some bad football teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if this guy he has tickets to the games, I mean, he goes to every UCLA home game, and he says it's just the worst team he's ever seen. So, yeah, I think we lay the points there with Penn State. All right. Any other college business we have to get to?
I do like Illinois. I think this is a bad Purdue team. Illinois laying just 9.5 there in the Big Ten. I think that they're a very, very solid team, despite the fact they got curb stomped by Indiana. I still think there's a lot of quality on this Illinois team. Purdue, not good at all. I'll lay the 9.5 there, Dave.
A little bit of an ugly game, but last week, I did take Memphis. I know a lot of people didn't like that one coming off of that big win against Arkansas. Memphis did end up covering against Florida Atlantic, but now they did score 31 points though in the fourth quarter. They won that game 55-26. As much as of a blowout as it looked, it was a little bit closer than that. And we had a Tulsa team now coming off of a 31-14 loss to Tulane, but that game was a little bit closer than the final score indicated. Memphis, obviously the better team. Memphis is going to win this game. It's not a question. But the 20.5 points, Tulsa, I think that this is a good spot for them to cover. I can see this being like a 38-21 game. And sometimes when you go with these trends, I know that the players have changed, the coaches have changed throughout the eras and everything. But I found Tulsa as a road double-digit underdog, 24-6 against the spread in their last 30. I'm going to go ahead and take Tulsa. Getting 20.5, Tulsa plus 20.5 against Memphis.
All right. Tulsa plus 20.5, Memphis, Dave. So when it comes to these picks, Penn State minus 25.5 UCLA, Illinois minus 9.5 Purdue, Tulsa plus 20.5 in Memphis. If you had to put the college fund for your soccer playing son on one of these games, David, which pick is it? What's the best bet, guys?
Ooh.
Well, for me, it would probably be the Illinois play, just because I think that's a short number. I think that number probably should be closer to 12 or 13. But I definitely would be curious to see what Dave's betting his kid's college future money on.
Yeah, I guess it would be tough. I mean, because you get that, Penn State. I mean, whenever you have a number that big, I guess I would probably
Well, they're both big numbers. One's plus 20.5, and the other's minus 25.5.
Yeah, at the end of the day, as much as I would probably go with the Penn State play just because I do really like Tulsa as a dog in that spot. But Memphis is the better team. Memphis can cover that number. And last week, I mean, that game was about 38 to 26 with about 6 minutes left. And they did score a couple touchdowns in the last 3 minutes of the game to make it a 41-26 to 55-26 game. And the point being, when you have a team like that can score a couple touchdowns, it's willing to score a couple touchdowns, even when it doesn't matter, that could be a little bit of a dangerous recipe. Even though I like Tulsa, you can see a situation where Tulsa hangs on and Memphis just scores a couple touchdowns in the last 5 minutes because they do have that capability. UCLA, Penn State, I think can beat them as bad as they want to, and I think they're going to want to beat them bad this week. So I would go with Penn State.
Yeah, it's the combination of the ability to beat them badly and the attitude that they're going to carry into that game, and the fact that the coach is a jerk and is feeling enormous heat. His hot seat is very hot, and so they have the ability to beat him by as many points as they want. They have the attitude to beat him by as many points as they want, and the coach is a jerk who will beat them by as many points as they can. I'd be shocked if they don't beat him by 30. I think it's going to be just an absolute blow the doors off of UCLA. Anyway, okay. Any more college action to talk about before we skip to the NFL?
No, go ahead, man.
Yeah, we
Thursday night football, the game which preempted our show on Thursday night, although we're talking about it on Wednesday. That line has gone from -1.5 with the 49ers to -7 for the Rams. The reasons for that, obviously, we know there's no George Kittle. He's gone for a very long time. We know that on the defensive side, there's no Bosa. He's gone for a very long time. But they are also down Ricky Pearsall and another starting receiver. Ayuk is still out. So that makes their receivers Kendrick Bourne, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Sky Moore, and Demarcus Robinson.
I'm sorry, is that the Chiefs lineup from 2019?
Exactly. Kind of funny, isn't it?
It really is.
Kendrick Bourne, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Sky Moore, and Demarcus Robinson. They all played for the Chiefs at one point, didn't they?
Everybody except Kendrick Bourne, yeah. The other three
except Kendrick Bourne. The other three played for the Chiefs.
Yep.
But they do still have this guy named McCaffrey, and I don't think Mac Jones is that much of a drop-off from Brock Purdy. So I don't know. It's a division game. These teams know each other well. I know the Rams are playing really well, but I don't know. That's a huge swing. Basically, it's all on injury news, Scott. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody in the NFL is worth 7.5 points, even those three guys together. I'm probably on the Rams here. Although, see, the problem is now you've got a bad number. So when you could have got the number, you could have
started Rams plus 1.5.
You could have had plus money. And now you've lost all of your value. So, gun to my head, got to bet the kids on it. I'll take the Rams to cover, but I'm not going to play it since that number is so inflated. It's
a stay away for you.
Yeah, it's like buying the iPhone on the first day. You know the price is coming down. Just relax. And that's I'm not. You have to look for value. Not only do you have to pick winners when you're betting sports, you have to look for the commensurate value that goes with it, and there just isn't any value in this game for me.
Okay, so David, if this game goes to 7.5 or to -6.5, does that push an opinion one way or another?
I mean, I think the play's the Rams. I mean, since people will probably watch this after, I did already bet the total. I took it at under 47, and I see it has dropped as low as 45.5 in some places. But the one thing I want to point out about this game, though, is yes, I hear what you're saying about Mac Jones, but Mac Jones is banged up too. And there were some reports earlier saying that he may be even more banged up than Brock Purdy. So now you're really running into situation where could we possibly see Rorick? We'll see what happens, but Mac Jones is maybe not 100% as well. So I don't really like laying that. I agree with Scott. It's a bad number, but I
He's playing,
can't.
by the way. Mac Jones is playing. And 2 hours ago, Mac Jones will be under center for the Rams against the 49ers, but he's dealing with
Right,
rib injury.
right, but how healthy is he? So I can't touch the like I said, I have the under on this game. I'll probably stay away from the side just because the value's gone. But if you do play it, it would be Rams or pass. I can't get behind the 49ers with
Are you still
all
under it
the
on
injuries.
45.5? Are you still on at 45.5?
Yeah, I would still take it at the 45.5.
Yes, I think that's the most likely play here for me. I do not want to lay 7.5 points with the Rams in a division game. Their offense isn't exactly on fire. And, the 49ers can play some defense and the Rams can play very good defense. And so I could see this being 24-13, 24-17, something like that. But there's a lot of games affected by injuries this weekend. The Dolphins all the way down to -2.5 against Carolina. They just lost Tyreek Hill for the season. That was a terrible injury. Does anybody think Carolina's a live dog in this game? Because I do. This is in Carolina. I know they're bad, but I think the Dolphins are just an absolute hot mess. The coach was under fire publicly, although I've heard, from everything I've heard from the beat reporter there is that the coach is safe and it's the players that the ownership is actually looking at getting rid of. And so, what's the morale of this team like after they lose Tyreek Hill? They lose another game. I mean, Scott,
Well,
what do you think?
that's the thing. This Carolina Panthers, man, they're the box of chocolate team. You don't know what you're going to get with them.
Right.
They started off with two bad games, losing to the Jags and then to the Cardinals, and then up out of nowhere they shut out the Falcons and win 30-0. And you're like, well, maybe this Carolina team is different. Maybe they got a little something something. They go and get beat by 29 against the Patriots, give up 42 points. So I don't think this defense is very good. I don't know what kind of devil voodoo magic they unleashed against the Falcons. The other thing is the Falcons. That's the only home team they played. That's the only home game they played so far. All three of those bad losses have come
on
the road. So, are they a live dog against Miami without Tyreek Hill? Maybe. I don't love that Miami offense right now.
This does violate my don't bet bad teams against bad teams rule. Also,
I think both of these defenses are terrible. I think for me, the play there is going to be the over 44.5 and just
but their offenses are just so bad. I mean, you're betting on Miami without Tyreek Hill. You're betting on the Carolina Panthers to score a bunch of points. I don't know, David.
Yeah, I don't really love this one. I mean, I'd like to have a more distinct play on this one, but the Panthers are just one of those teams. It's hard for me to figure out. I mean, sometimes when I back them, they've made me look bad so many times. I think that this is one of those games that either way, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a blowout either way. I mean, it feels like one of those games you could take the Panthers and then the Dolphins are up 21-0, and you're like, what the hell was I thinking?
What the hell did I do that for?
Or you could go the other way. Both of these teams are extremely inconsistent. I was on the Dolphins against the Jets, but I'm not sure I want to do it again.
Right, and yeah, I mean that's again Loud's rule on you don't bet bad teams against bad teams because it is a box of chocolates. Another game massively affected by injury news. Lamar Jackson will not play. It will be Cooper Rush. Ravens went from being -7.5 in a home game against the Texans to +1. The over-under on this game is 40.5. The average this season over-under number has been between 43.5 and 45. The Texans' offense stinks, except they might have found something at running back. I actually just picked that guy up because, of course, one of my starting running backs in fantasy football, Bucky Irving, is for who knows how long. I can't tell you my injury history in fantasy football is like the worst. So huge line swing here too. Ravens -7.5 to Ravens +1 at home against the Texans. I don't think I like a side here, but I would lean towards the under, David. I don't see how the Ravens score much. And as bad as the Ravens defense has been, the Texans offense stinks.
Yeah, I would lean on the under too. I mean, you got the Ravens involved. You don't feel great about a number that low, but Lamar Jackson, so much of that offense. I tried to watch as much as I could of that Texans and Titans game. If you watched NFL Red Zone, I'll tell you, you probably didn't even know the game was going on. You might have saw maybe a couple missed field goals, but that game wasn't popping up on Red Zone. But the Texans have had an extremely they're it's been very solid defensively, but they're having a really hard time, moving the ball, getting protection for C.J. Stroud, committing penalties, turnovers. Yeah, I have a hard time finding a lot of points in that one, so I like the under as well. And even with Cooper Rush, I'm kind of leaning on the Ravens in this one and the coaching of John Harbaugh. I know that the Texans need a win as well, but it's so hard to see the Ravens falling to 1-4. I kind of feel like the Ravens are going to find a way to
Oh,
get the
look,
win there. I like the
I,
Ravens
I,
in
I,
it.
I can tell you this. I know what John Harbaugh's game plan is going to be. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And so that is also going to push down on the score. That's going to speed up the clock. It's going to speed up the game. That means less possessions. And Scott, that means less scoring, right? So it doesn't everything scream under?
Yeah, it just depends on how much success they have stopping Derrick Henry. It's really what it comes down to, because you're absolutely right. That is going to be the game plan. They are going to throw the ball, or they're going to run the ball with Derrick Henry. Maybe some short possession type passes to Mark Andrews, like we saw at the beginning of the Chiefs game last Thursday. I think if you have Zay Flowers on your fantasy team, it's a good time to sit him on the bench, because I don't think he's going to be having a ton of points.
That's who I've got on my fantasy team.
Very nice.
Flowers.
Very
Perfect.
nicely done.
Yeah, and I got a bunch of receivers on buys. Great.
Yeah. I don't see them throwing the ball down the field, and I know that Lamar was under a lot of pressure against the Chiefs last week. They didn't get a ton of sacks, but they were putting pressure on him throughout that entire game. And the Texans do have an absolutely brutal pass rush. They are able to generate pressure on the quarterback. So I think that's going to be a couple. You're going to get a couple drive kills off of the sacks. I'm with you. It's a 40.5 number, because it's kind of scary playing that low of a number.
17-10.
Yeah, I think 17-10, 17-13 is a very real possibility for this game.
Okay, lightning round, guys. Got to speed up because we're running out of time. Denver, Philly, it's -3.5 Philly. I'm going to buy the hook and take Philly -3. David, your call on that game.
I agree with you with Philly. I'm still not oversold on the Broncos, and I'm not fading Philly, so I agree with you.
Scott, I think the Giants are a live dog. They're getting plus points, but I think I'm going to bet them to win against the Saints. I like what I saw in Jackson Dart. I like what I see with Scatterbo. I don't like anything I see with the Saints.
Yeah, that line makes no sense to me. I think the Giants are a much better club than the Saints are. Saints are showing very little fight right now.
And Spencer Rattler is horrible.
Not
absolutely terrible. Buccaneers +3.5 in Seattle. This is some injury news playing in here. Mike Evans definitely out. Bucky Irving, they're saying doubtful. The guy's in a walking boot. I don't understand why he's doubtful. The report is he's in a walking boot on crutches and consulting doctors. To me, that's not doubtful. He'll be lucky if he doesn't miss the rest of the season, is the way that sounds to me, David. But I love what I see from Baker Mayfield, and the Buccaneers can play, man. And I'm not sure about Seattle. So I would lean +3 in the hook with the Buccaneers at the Seahawks.
Yeah, with all those injury news, it's hard to back the Bucs. The Bucs are sometimes you find one of those teams that's not really your team, but you just kind of find yourself cheering for them, and that's been like the Bucs for me. I feel like despite all the injury news getting points, I feel like the Bucs find a way to cover this game.
Yeah, I still, and I think that number is going to continue to go up. I wouldn't be surprised if by game time it's +5, because it's a late afternoon game. So this is when people bet early on games in the morning, and then they take their money that they won, which they swore they weren't going to do, and they roll it into playing games in the afternoon. or they run to the ATM and they get more money or crypto or whatever and put it with a book overseas. And then they bet the afternoon games, and they haven't thought it through as much as they thought through their other bets. And so sometimes that number will get pushed. I'm going to watch it up to game time and see where it is. Lions -10 at the Bengals. Boy, the Bengals are terrible. The Lions have found their offense. Scott, this number doesn't scare me a bit.
No, it really doesn't. It's a double-digit spread in the NFL, and that always should be cause for pause. But this is a Cincinnati team. You know, we saw it against Denver. I had the over in that game, and I knew the Cincinnati Bengals defense was terrible, but I thought they'd be able to generate a little more offense with Jake Browning having a game under his belt, and they absolutely did not. This is a team that can't run the football, and Browning is just not getting enough time to throw the ball down the field. I think the Lions are going to have a field day here.
I will stay with you because the next one is Kansas City at Jacksonville. Quickly, they're -3.5. Do you like the Chiefs?
No, I'll take Jacksonville there. They showed me something last week. They look like a really good team. I'm not convinced the Chiefs are back yet. Chiefs may eke out a victory, 21-18.
Boy, did the Ravens play awful. God.
Yeah, just dreadful. And then everybody on defense was hurt, so I don't know how much we learned there. I like this Jacksonville team and what they did last week. I'll take Jacksonville and catch the points at home.
Pick, David. Buffalo -8. Patriots are in Buffalo at Buffalo. Buffalo's look great. All of a sudden, the Patriots found something last week. Is it real, or do we think the Buffaloes are better?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and ride with the Buffalo Bills in this one. I know that it seemed like a lot of points in a divisional game, but the way that the Bills can move the ball, them being able to win this by 10 points doesn't scare me. They're going to want to send a statement. I'm not fading the Buffalo Bills in this one. I'll take Buffalo.
Buffalo Bills have the best quarterback and probably the best player in the NFL in Josh Allen right now. So I find it hard not to back them in this one. All right, this has been the Hit the Pick Show. I'm Loud. He's Scott the Steamroller Steen. David Delano joining us. Search these guys out. Get their wisdom before you put down your hard-earned money. All right, that's it. Thanks for being here, everybody. Until next time.